Ah, Swedish flats?
No, I'm only making fun of Swedish pizzas. Curry banana pizza seems like, or maybe that's Finnish, but curry banana pizza seems like probably the most offensive thing I can think of.
Doesn't sound great. I know in Japan they put corn and mayonnaise on pizza though, so questionably worse.
I mean, actually, in a lot of places, places will substitute mayo for cheese in white sauces because it's cheaper, and people can't always tell the difference.
That's fair. I mean, you know, mayo's a useful thing to use, but I mean, honestly, I'm not a big white sauce person anyways. But I digress. Speaking of pizza, somebody who I know makes a good amount of pizza is spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Berlingrad. He is none other than our Red Terran player from Germany, representing Mouse Sports with their fancy new blocky logo. It is HeroMarine.
And in the upper left, in the blue, the other German, the Protoss player for Berlin International Gaming, he is ShoWTimE.
Got Big Esports versus Big Gabe.
I always thought it was so wrong that of the two Germans, HeroMarine does not play for Big.
I know.
Well, God, there's so much missed opportunity here.
Agreed.
Like, realistically, he should just be signed to Mouse and be allowed to use the Big clan tag.
Big and Mouse just need to group together. You know what I mean? Need to make one team. Big Mouse, Big Gabe.
This is just a missed opportunity here that I have not been over.
But it does give us the ability to say Big Gabe versus Big Esports.
Big ShoWTimE.
Yeah, Big ShoWTimE. Big Demau.
Because technically he is Big.ShoWTimE.
That's exactly right.
So, I don't think this series is going to be nearly as one-sided.
No. I 100% agree. I mean, ShoWTimE able to take out Clem 3-1 shows he's feeling good in the matchup. Obviously, Clem, one of the toughest Terran opponents you can go up against. HeroMarine has shown that he's very adept at this matchup, and this adept has shown that he likes to kill SCVs.
I was gonna say, considering the fact that ShoWTimE has taken out Clem to get here, I'm thinking, I mean, at least the way today is playing, you never count out Big Gabe because, I mean, this tournament is named after him. Right. But if you're gonna take down Clem 3-1, I gotta actually wait. We got a depth in the natural. As they were able to shade in, the wall was not up. It's only 2, so it doesn't one-shot SCVs, not quite. So instead, ShoWTimE is just gonna go in. He's gonna go out. He's gonna recall home. He says, okay, well, whatever. Didn't quite get what I was looking for, but I got a good scout. And his response, the Invisible Men.
What a response! How do you feel about DTs in this matchup?
It's an interesting response, right? I feel like we've started to see it more and more as like a 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 type of build. Not in terms of like, wow, it's ranked 1 out of 10, but like 1 or 2 out of every 10 games. Where if the Terran player is not paying attention, if they are not exactly banking their scans as they need to be, or if they're not opening Ravens, which I believe HeroMarine in the PVTs or the TVPs we've seen him play today, I think he's only opened Ravens once. And he certainly has not in this game, at least not yet. I don't think there's a tech lab on the start board anyways.
That is true.
Really what happens, like, there are games where ShoWTimE is just absolutely going to evaporate a mineral line, and you're like, okay, well, GG. And even then, even if there is a Raven out, you can go and do Archon drops and cause more havoc, but it's one of those, like, once a series, maybe. I don't think we're going to see it more than once. But as game 1 of the series, it's a great way for ShoWTimE to set tempo and kind of just hopefully put HeroMarine on the back foot, add something to the back of HeroMarine's mind as he's trying to figure out what's happening. Because look at this. There's only one. Actually, there are no scans right now. One scan is going to be ready soon.
And we got a DT hitting the front line. We got 2 in the main, and this, I really thought there was going to be a Raven. He built that medevac.
Yep,
he just taps out immediately, and You know, honestly, the reason I asked you how you were feeling about it in this matchup is because I have not seen DTs win a game for a Protoss against a Terran in a long time. Every single time I see a Dark Shrine get made, I'm like, the Terran's just going to win this. All they're going to do is clean up the DTs, and they're going to move across the map. There's going to be no splash damage, and that is going to be the game. This is the big exception, and I feel like a big part of that might be that ShoWTimE may be the least likely European Protoss to make a Dark Shrine.
See, I think the big exception is because ShoWTimE plays for big.
Oh, true. Yeah, we have a lot of players coming back, and I'm always excited to see a player come back and do well, and just, I feel like it brings more to the game. I don't know. I love it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for True, but he's not here. There's no Zergs here. Neither him nor Bjul, nor Raynor, actually, because Raynor was taken out not even by either of these players earlier on the bracket. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner. Not the defeater of Raynor, but the defeater of the defeater of Raynor. It is Mousesports, HeroMarine. And man, that was a sentence I said.
And in the bottom left, excuse me, in the blue, the man who's up 1-0 and has once also defeated Raynor, or defeated the defeater of Raynor, is ShoWTimE.
We got a proxy.
And that, my friend.
Proxy racks.
Ooh. These proxy racks plays that are like one cliff away from the actual cliff are just so interesting. Because like they work, in part because you don't scout here. You scout around your third base, cliff like right there because that's the immediate jump in. But you don't scout here as much. That being said, ShoWTimE didn't scout around there anyway, so like putting the barracks here instead of like right up snug against the main base, really it's just slowing the Reaper's approach just a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I mean, the Reaper isn't likely to get too much damage done, right? So it's not going to make like the most massive difference. Oh, I like this actually. It's a lot closer to where the bunker is going to be.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Maybe that could be kind of cheeky. I think
Although
it's just
apparently
about not being scouted is a big part of it too.
Yeah. I mean, these what I really like about this bunker positioning, by the way, it's not so often you'll stick it behind the mineral line, right? Which means that, well, the Protoss response, hey, it's not going to be a dead probe. I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's got 2 low ones, but no dead ones. Wow. Good save from ShoWTimE.
But the nice thing about this bunker here, right? Just, again, generally you put it behind the mineral line. This one is actually going to, okay, actually doesn't, oh man, I wish you'd put it a little closer. It does not have quite range to the pylon. So the point was going to be, well, it has range to the pylon, which means the shield battery will not be allowed to just kind of, you put 2 stalkers and you shield battery it up and you're fine. Which is not exactly what is happening here. But now the bunker here, it's denying mining for just about forever. And certainly these Reapers are going to be a little bit annoying. Actually, these Reapers getting a little bit ornery. Trying to see if they can actually kill this stalker off, but that will be unsuccessful for now. It's just a little bit annoying. And actually, they're going to get the bunker. No free salvage.
Yeah,
no plus 75.
No 75 minerals for HeroMarine, and he didn't get any probes. Not a single unit loss for ShoWTimE. This is a great hold. I feel like that is the best hold of that I have seen. Usually at least 1 probe goes down. You kind of expect it, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And behind the ShoWTimE, he's got a starport, he's got an Oracle, and honestly, a lot of these like stock standard early harass ideas, you get Oracle. You get a Depson or something. Not nearly as impactful against the Terran for the most part, against any other race, because of course Terran workers have 5 more HP than any other worker, which means that it takes 3 Oracle shots instead of 2. It takes 3 depth shots instead of 2. It just takes a much more commitment to kill Terran economy in the early game.
Yes, it certainly does, and I think that might be by design. Something tells me that was.
It's almost like Adepts ruined Terran's lives for like the first 3 months of Legacy.
Yeah, it was painful. It was painful to watch, but I do like seeing Adept builds against Terran. Every now and then they pop out, and I'm like, this can't work, right? And usually it doesn't, but I like them anyways. I mean,
well, actually, the Oracles are starting to find some value here, but we're gonna have to see whether ShoWTimE is paying attention to the drop. Last second split as you. Oh no!
Oh
now we don't get to see it at all. Let's see. 8 workers, 8 probes have died. Chickenman
you
doing
know
me
what?
dirty like that.
I'm so
But
sorry.
there we go. It's all good. Oracle is getting just...
Yeah.
Oracles do not get 11 SCVs, Chickenman.
No. Well, I mean, when every single unit's on the other side of the map, the Oracle's left alone to play. Both players losing so many workers here. 11 probes go down, 11 SCVs go down. But here's the thing. ShoWTimE is up 12 workers right now. So even if this Widowmine gets a huge hit, which it isn't likely to do, it does get a few more kills. There's still a big worker lead for ShoWTimE right now. And he's going to drop that third base right away. But you know what? HeroMarine's got a third CC in his main. That's why he didn't have any units here to deal with the Oracle. So he should be able to catch back up in workers fairly quickly.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, getting those extra 4 workers does put HeroMarine in a really good spot. Yeah, he's down 10 workers, but, you know, commensurate damage here is a thing. Terran getting even more than you. What effectively happened here is HeroMarine killed 4 workers, which is not the end of the world. But not terrible either. But ShoWTimE now getting active on the map as the Reapers dive in the main. 3 volleys are all that it's going to take here. Just knock down everything. So let's see how many workers do go to actually just force a recall. This depth warping is not going to be enough.
That recall is pretty huge because those adepts be much more useful on the other side of the map. ShoWTimE decides to just pull everything back, which is a little surprising. I feel like he could have dove in with the Phoenixes, maybe with the Oracle, and gotten something done. He still is going to do that, but now, of course, it buys a little more time for HeroMarine to get some more units out. He's got a Viking. He's got a handful of Marines. Might be able to push this away.
I mean, it's still only 9 Marines, and none of them are in the main. So, as much as you say, yeah, you can push him away, it's still going to get damaged.
Yeah,
the
look at this
Oracle's just kind of sitting
man.
here.
15, 16, 17. Can I get 18? Nope. Oh, he does get 18. Never mind. I lied.
He had 18 before, and yeah. I don't think I've ever seen, or at least not in the last year or so, an Oracle in PBT get this much damage.
No, definitely not. Not for a while. Because like you said, it takes 3 ticks to kill an SCV. It takes forever. We don't even see Oracles get damage anymore. Usually they make an Oracle, and it's to, like, help against Marines or something. Just get tags. We don't even see them kill workers most of the time. So it's insane to see how many workers this Oracle is getting. It just keeps going. It's an Executor Oracle.
Kills.
My God. And I know we got auto turrets getting damage done over here. This Raven being very annoying. But
I mean,
Phoenix
the Oracle
will
is...
clean it up.
Oh, he's going to get a Stalker. The Oracle is staying alive. The Raven's dead. So... yeah, you know, getting some of those upgrades is nice, great, sure. Or getting some of those workers, that's great, sure. But when you consider the fact that HeroMarine is losing his units to do harassment and ShoWTimE is not, that's really the big deal here. Probes are going to get pulled, try to keep this alive because ShoWTimE, he does have that big worker lead. Colossus just raining hellfire from above. The tank is not getting anything done here. Colossus taking literally 0 damage because while our Phoenix did go down, only 1 remains. The push from HeroMarine is dead, it's done. ShoWTimE maintains that 10 worker lead. And it feels like HeroMarine is just like, you know, digging for scraps here.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to target down the Phoenixes so the tanks would actually get something done, but there were just enough Phoenixes to keep lifting until the attack was pretty much cooked. HeroMarine's had this third CC for about 100 years, and it's just now got the first SCV mining from it at 8.5 minutes. This is not a good position for HeroMarine right now, and I know the army supplies are similar, but he's down workers. There's Colossi out. He wasn't able to do anything about that early. And I talk about this. The army supply doesn't really reflect what the Terran has on the map. A lot of that's still in production. Usually the Terran wants to be up in supply because we see, as we do right now, big warp-ins suddenly put ShoWTimE way ahead. And he's just going to keep getting further and further ahead. His third base is much better saturated. He's at the perfect amount of probes right now. It's 69. He stopped making them. He knows that that is what he needs to be at as he takes his fourth.
Yeah, and then there's also that additional component of the equation where, you know, much like Wall Street, the value or the supply number is very detached from the actual value of the units here, much more for Protoss than any other race. So, like, if we look at, say a 50 supply Terran versus a 50 supply Protoss, the Protoss probably, the value of that army is probably going to be, you know, 400, 800, 1,000 resources more than what the Terran has, depending on what it is. So you talk about why supply. Well, part of it, yeah, because it's in production. Part of it is also is for like any single supply in a mid to late game Protoss composition. That army is just going to be worth more. It's going to cost more to build, and therefore is going to be more powerful.
Unless it's like a full-on Gateway Zest style army. You're absolutely right. You know, we got these Colossi. Those are big boys. They're expensive boys. Big, tall, lanky giraffes. Yeah. ShoWTimE, he's in a great spot, and it's kind of on HeroMarine to get something done, I feel like. ShoWTimE's just going to be happily macroing for a little while here.
So, +1 is done for HeroMarine. +1 armor is on the way. So, ShoWTimE here, I'm kind of surprised we don't see Double Forge, actually, considering he is on 4 bases, and he is in such a good economic position.
Hey.
And I guess, hey, there we go. Look at that.
Perfect time.
Castro knows what he's talking about, maybe. But even, oh yeah, ShoWTimE's going for a big attack here. Look at this, 3 Archons morphing in. You don't build Archons if you're not planning on doing something with them.
No, unless you think you need to defend or you're planning to attack. Those are the only 2 times you build Archons against Terran.
And, well, he's right. He is getting attacked here. +1 attack is done for ShoWTimE, +1 armor. So HeroMarine now is at 1-1. The problem, though, you talked about supply leads and the things you want, things you don't want. HeroMarine, he does not have a supply lead against the Protoss player, so as he moves out on the map, his army, if you look at army value, and this is what we're talking about, it is solidly, 700, 800 gas more, and just 800 resources more for the same amount of supply. Pretty much. Zealots are going to get on top of things. Colossus shooting away from the low ground. Tanks are going to get some good shots off, and ShoWTimE not taking a good fight whatsoever here.
Yeah,
kind of wrapped around the corner.
Colossus that I don't feel like was necessary. He's trying to get some Zealots in the main base. They get a few SCVs, but they will just get taken down there. Good defense from HeroMarine. And yeah, I'm a little worried that that fight did not go well for ShoWTimE. It was just a little skirmish, but already a good start for HeroMarine, and now he's starting to push into this base. Force Field's going to delay by a little bit of time, but this Viking count is actually pretty substantial.
What are we at? We're at, we're looking at, what, 4 Vikings, 5 Vikings per Colossus at this point, which is massive. I mean, the magic number is 3 to 4. So getting up to 5 is incredible, but we are starting to see disruptors hit the field, and this army that HeroMarine has made is really good against, like, Blinkstalker Colossus. Not nearly as good when you get those addition of disruptors, because suddenly the tanks are not nearly as powerful as they want to be. So disruptor shots are going to go off. Colossus are starting to go down. I mean, there's not a lot you can really deal and do about this anymore when you have that much of a Viking advantage. But we're now at disruptor tech, and Vikings have been landed. There is not a unit. I don't know that there's a unit that's worse against disruptors than a landed Viking. They just kind of get exploded. Nice splits there from HeroMarine for now, and he is starting to build a massive supply lead. He's up 30 army supply here. The +1 armor upgrade is really starting to bring to the fore here, really starting to add some longevity to this army, but disruptor shots, they don't give a damn about upgrades here whatsoever. So the army is starting to thin on out. +1 armor is done. Blink was not done. That was actually a big reason why that fight went so well for HeroMarine, but the disruptors are doing a really, nice hot pickup.
The disruptors are the only thing keeping ShoWTimE alive right now. I mean, HeroMarine, this army is going to get pushed back, but he is still up in supply. And disruptors by themselves, with just a few stalkers or a few gateway units, they need some more support. They need that consistent damage of something like a Colossus over top, or just a lot of gateway units. And ShoWTimE doesn't have that right now. And I feel like as these Liberators come in, as the Bio army kind of groups together, it's going to be a lot harder for ShoWTimE to continue taking good fights with the disruptors.
Well, you got to remember, so +2 attack is done. It does make these stalkers much more powerful, especially with Blink being added on in as well. And also ShoWTimE has realized that there are no Vikings on the field anymore. They've all died. They've served their purpose as far as HeroMarine can tell. What that means now is disruptor shot, not going to go off. Really nice hot pickups from HeroMarine. You don't see that all that often. What that means is the addition of these 2 Colossus is going to be very powerful indeed. Colossus actually are a kind of, I'm not going to say a counter, like soft counter to Liberators, because they kind of outrange the Liberators. The Bio that thinks it's safe underneath the Aegis of Liberator zones, not really as much anymore. So ShoWTimE here with this much better composition, much more complex composition that he's got for himself. Now he still has those 3 disruptors. It's going to be a little bit easier for him to dislodge, but notice he's already expanding elsewhere on the map. He's kind of, I think, accepted that this base is going to go down at some point here. The push is just too strong, but it's not even going to matter. The push is not strong enough. GG ShoWTimE 2-0.
Yeah, HeroMarine couldn't quite push through that, and that is actually very surprising to me. I really felt like he was on the verge of taking that one, but not the case. The Zealots in the main base forcing HeroMarine to accept the fact that even if he pushed through, he didn't really have anything to fall back to. There was no fourth base situation there for HeroMarine. He was pretty committed to that, and like you said, ShoWTimE was taking a different base. Even if he lost that one, he would have been able to send his probes over to that other fourth, and he would have been okay. But I love what you were talking about, going back into those Colossi, kind of countering the fact that it was so heavy on Liberators and all those Vikings died. HeroMarine really thought he had the death push with that huge concave and the landed Vikings, and it just didn't quite happen. I was really shocked, but man, disruptors are pretty good.
Yeah. So it's the tale as old as StarCraft. You know, you counter the counter to your counter. And that's exactly what happened there. You know, you get rid of the Vikings. You don't need any more. Disruptors are, again, very good against the Vikings. And then, well, it's like, well, okay, you know, time for some Colossus play. Those, you know, why am I, H.G. Wells, Mars.
War of the Worlds?
Yes.
Yes.
ShoWTimE, cosplaying as War of the Worlds. Easy.
Nice. Well, it's getting to game 3 here. I thought this was for sure going to be super close, but I don't know. We're on match point, spawning in the upper right-hand corner. He's got to do the full reverse sweep in this grand finals if he wants to live up to this tournament's name. It is our Red Terran player, the largest of Gabes, HeroMarine.
And in the bottom left here, with 3 consecutive tournament points to his name, the other German, ShoWTimE. Also the other big player.
True. Both large players in this match today. And I mean, this is a classic, isn't it? ShoWTimE, HeroMarine.
Yep. Although, when was the last time we had a major tournament grand finals between these two?
A major tournament final? Oh man, I don't know.
Because I feel like it's happened.
Cyril Rayner and Clemby taking all the major tournament finals.
Yeah, if it would have happened, it would have been early Legacy. And actually, you know, you're right. It would have been early Legacy when ShoWTimE was dominant. More dominant, like he's good now, but he was winning everything. And I don't think HeroMarine was as comparatively good back then. So actually, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe there was like a WCS. I could definitely see like a WCS finals at some point between them, but I couldn't actually tell you.
It would have had to be before 2018, and
it would have
came out in 2015.
Yeah, not a lot of time for that to happen. But certainly possible. ShoWTimE was pretty much inarguably the best Protoss for a lot of Legacy.
Yeah, ShoWTimE and Drogo.
Yeah. HeroMarine, he's been in the top of the European Terrans for a long time as well. I don't know, that's kind of interesting. That's an interesting thought. Maybe somebody in chat can Google it while we're casting StarCraft.
But no, Chickenman, you and I both know that you know, Googling it can be exciting, sure. But no, the best part, the best thing that you do is you just sit here and you talk about things that you have no idea what you're talking about and get it absolutely wrong, but it produces content. Right. That's how this works. Yeah.
Yes. The more wrong you are, the more chat engagement you get. The fun fact.
It's the whatchamacallit principle. Like if you're ever trying to find information on the internet, you don't Google it. That's gonna take a while, especially if it's arcane, rather like precise information, arcane information. But what you do instead is these Marines are not getting anything that they're supposed to get done. Nice job with the line of sight blockers here. ShoWTimE is getting every single one. Well done, Mr.
The 2 hit point stalker. Oh, why did he turn it around? Why would you do that?
I think the idea was to get to the high ground and turn around. He just did it a little soon.
Oh my god. He saved that stalker for so long, only to lose it. Feels bad, man.
1 stalker for 6 Marines. That's pretty worth it. Hellion's going to dive in now, but there's a...
The Oracle
knows exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, he was ready for it. He was probably watching one of the games earlier. He's like, I know your builds, HeroMarine. Get out of here. with those
Yes.
two Hellions.
The predictions with the Oracle. Something really, really poetic about that.
Now we have the 4 Widowmine drop follow up here. Well, 3 Widowmine drop because the 4th one was late.
No, it's just going to be for the second drop, very clearly.
Nice.
Now, ShoWTimE, he is going a little higher gateway count in this game number 3. It's 3 gate blink, not just 2, so you have a little bit more aggressive potential. I mean, in this day and age, we don't really see 3 gate blink as an aggressive thing, much more as a kind of defensive one that maybe kind of harasses the army as it moves across the map. But even still, he does have that additional spanner in his toolbox, so we are going to see the Widowmine drop find its way on in, but Phoenix was on the way for a second. Never mind. Stalkers are in position, though. Blink is not done, but this is not going to work out all that well, actually.
You know what? How many Stalkers was that? That was 2 Stalkers and I think 1 probe.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that was worth it. 2 Stalkers is kind of nice. That's pretty expensive. But losing 3 Widowmines and a medevac for that, I think ShoWTimE's probably pretty happy with how that went. Because it looked a little dicey for a second. Those probes got kind of clogged up with the Stalkers. And I got concerned. But the second Widowmine drop, that's where the real money is. Oh, no. ShoWTimE's not watching. Oh, no. It's painful.
Man, I gotta say, I'm blaming my chat for this. Right before, literally as this drop was coming in, C Torres is saying, ShoWTimE looking super strong. Well, they talk about caster's curse, but can we talk about like Twitch chat curse for a second?
Twitch chat curse is real. That's why we never see Gemini in chat when Trap is playing.
Well, it's also because Trap is playing on YouTube.
That's true. And who really goes into YouTube chat, honestly? Actually, you know what? If anybody was going to go into YouTube chat for GSL, it would be Gemini. He would do
100%.
it. Yeah.
Just got
He's enough of a degen to be in YouTube chat.
Yeah, no, I did GSL Super Tournament quals with him. I cast them on Saturday morning.
Oh, nice.
And the one thing I found out is I'm like, dude, he's like, I'm not as cool as you. I'm like, well, yeah, but you got some really cool StarCraft paraphernalia. I'm jealous. He's like, yeah, that flag behind me, which is like a 6 foot tall Trap's face, is like, yeah, that was from Latte World, from like one of the GSLs or GSL Super Tournaments or something. Did that Widowmine hit the unbuildable plate? Or the tank shot?
It was the tank shot, yeah.
Okay.
HeroMarine clicked it by accident. If you're wondering why players... Oh my god.
The Widowmine.
Oh, hold on. Oh,
well
man.
done.
Great shot. That
Actually,
was a bait. Great bait, mate. But where's the bio going?
8 out of 8.
All right. Well, recall. Yeah, really, really nicely done there by HeroMarine. He predicted that.
But the Oracle could not predict it. This goes to show you, folks, that just because superstition says something does not mean it is true.
Right.
The Oracle, yeah,
Sometimes the
we can
writing
tell you.
is, in fact, on the wall. Oh, this is another good bait, though. That Stasis Ward. Look at him. He's like, come on in, bud. The water is fine, and the scan misses it. Oh, what a catch.
Well done there. I mean, despite this, though, ShoWTimE's economy is not where it needs to be. He's sitting here. Yeah, he's up 7 workers. He wants to be up 12 right now. Granted, being at 3 bases to 2 is useful. HeroMarine looking to re-engage as Stasis ends, but the force field is going to be everything it needs to be here. This is a lot of dead arm. The tank goes down too.
Yeah, this is a really nice engagement for ShoWTimE. He fights one half of the army, and now he can fight the other half. He took down that tank, and now as the Zealots die, he should be able to get these Stalkers out of here, or he'll just trade. He's just going to take the fight. It's a little bit of a dangerous fight with medevacs over top of 2 Marauders. You'd think the Stalkers have an easy time with that, but Marauders are pretty good.
I mean, actually, it was medevacs over 1 Marauder because the other one was getting consistently lifted. Which, they say the only thing worse than zero Phoenix is like 1 Phoenix. Because like 1 Phoenix by itself doesn't do all that much. But in games like this, where you're lifting a tank, you're lifting a Marauder, that 1 Phoenix actually has significant value to it.
Yeah.
I
love that he's utilizing it. Like ShoWTimE utilizing, he only made that Phoenix to kill the medevac with the Widowmines in it earlier. So the fact that he's able to utilize it there just to help him a little bit, It's so great. He's using these units that I feel like a lot of other players wouldn't even bother. It would just be idly firing at a medevac and then die to some Marines or Widowmine at some point. So I love that. He's really using every tool he has.
That he is. So let's see. Storm is done in 10 to 15 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds coming on in now. HeroMarine trying to hit the timing right before then. But 5, 4, 3. Storms are done in a second. Your Liberator's being annoying. Storm is going to land, and there we go. Still, though, ShoWTimE, he's down 20 supply.
Yeah, this is still a dicey spot. He's got some Zealots hitting on the other side of the map, but it looks like they are being defended by the reinforcements for HeroMarine. These Widowmines being very annoying, but most of them have been picked up and left. I think ShoWTimE has detection, though. And now that the armory's done, he desperately needs that detection to be able to clear these mines. Storm is a big boon. HeroMarine needs to really avoid that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I assume he's getting into Ghosts. Look at that Phoenix go, dude. He's got 2 kills.
Oh, the drag? The drag?
It almost killed a Marine.
No, that Phoenix is hilarious because there are no Marines in that army. Not really, but, you know, they're just going to sit over the Marauders. But, I mean, yeah, this army, while it was able to kill off a lot of those Stalkers, it is a very overstimmed army here. So, yeah, HeroMarine's got to be very careful with that as the Marauders stim forward, just trying to get as much as they can. That army's dead, but we got to push on the right side here. And no stim, or excuse me, no storm, no Archon, or excuse me, no High Templar with that army here. But the Zealots coming in from behind.
Zealot flank, very nice there. This Liberator, though, those Stalkers were warped in to deal with that, and they have not quite done that yet. So that's being very annoying. ShoWTimE needs to take care of that. But he's finally defended. He's going to clear up everything on his side of the map. He had some Zealots doing some damage at the same time, so the worker count is still good for ShoWTimE. It's not terrible for HeroMarine, and as he starts his 4th base, but it is 4 bases for the Protoss. I think ShoWTimE's probably all right with where he's at right now. The supplies are pretty similar. Little mine drop doesn't quite get the connections it was looking for, and another Phoenix is made. That's going to do a great job at shooting this medevac. But HeroMarine's going to continue pushing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I thought the Phoenix was like, okay, I'm going to build one to deal with this drop earlier, but, you know, it's like one Phoenix. You don't rebuild that. But, yeah, we did see ShoWTimE rebuild that here. This push on the right side, not going to be all that useful, but Widowmines in the, what killed 9? Oh, I guess the drop, the push in there did manage to kill 9 workers before going down. But Widowmines in the main, though, ShoWTimE not paying attention. This has been a game of Widowmines making widows of the economy of ShoWTimE.
Oh, no, those poor
14
probes.
more workers go down.
Those poor probes leaving their spouses at home. They're all going to get letters from the Protoss army. It'd be so sad. All those widows.
Man, my chat just got really dark. Do the minds of Marines freeze in stasis as well, or are they conscious, knowing their doom is coming?
That's a great question.
That is really depressing.
It's really sad. Can you imagine you look out and you just like see a bunch of units surrounding you? Terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I'm dead here. I gotta wait 30 seconds to actually be dead. Oh no.
I mean, I guess you get to like make peace, you know?
What if you want to make carrots instead?
I mean, you could do that too. They go well together. Me and Jenny, we was like peas and carrots.
Exactly.
HeroMarine gonna keep the pressure on. I got you. With the Forrest Gump references, I'll get you anytime.
There we go. So we got a drop here into relax. It's going to be the natural, but these storm drops are all that are keeping ShoWTimE alive. EMPs are going to be decent. Honestly, only some of those storms were good. But now the drop in the natural here. What is that? 2 Marauders, 4 Marines, 5 Marines. Yeah, this is a lot of potential probe damage here. ShoWTimE not really reacting, but he's like, look, if I can catch this army in the middle of the map, if I can shut it down, if I can close it off, if I can just kill it, maybe there's a chance that I can just snowball this lead on this game onto the other side of things. The storm drop, they're looking for it. He's got it. The storm, the army is dead all of a sudden, but it's still going back to a planetary.
That's what he was looking for. It looks like ShoWTimE, I don't think he can push into this. There's a little too much out. Where is he going? No, the EMPs are huge. Oh, I do not think this is the move for ShoWTimE. He doesn't want to fall back. He doesn't have a 5th to go back to, so he just says, if I can't win now, I can't win. And you know what? He was right. Can't win. HeroMarine takes game number 3 and puts a point on the board.
And he does. It's not going to be a clean 3-0, which honestly, the way those first two games went, wouldn't have been surprised.
I was a little concerned, but we got ourselves a series. We got a match on our hands. But let's get
Not
into
wrong.
This is the first time I've seen Blackburn in this entire tournament today. It's game number 4 of the grand finals. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner, we have our Red Terran player. He is the largest of Gabe's. It is Mouse Sports, HeroMarine.
And in the bottom right, in Azul, he is ShoWTimE. El Jugador de Protas.
Sí.
We.
Da.
Verum est.
I don't know.
Funny story, by the way. In Latin, you don't exactly say yes all that much. You're like, it is true.
It is
Like-
true.
So like like if someone say, hey, what, is this whatever? And if I'm remembering right, I might be misremembering this, but if you say rumst is the like Latin contraction for verum est, which means yes.
Imagine
I
speaking
may be-
Latin.
Yeah, means you're in the Vatican probably, or like National Junior Classical League.
Wow.
Wow.
Nerds.
I can't imagine being a nerd.
Bro.
No way.
Nerds. I mean, what are they doing? They're probably like watching somebody play video games or something. Man.
Yeah, who would do such a thing?
I don't know, man. It's nerds.
I bet it's only a multi-million-dollar industry.
Yeah. Probably not even a billion.
Actually, I think it's a
It's
multi-billion at this
definitely
point.
multi-billion. 100%. Yeah, without a doubt.
Although, even League Esports is not making a profit right now.
Well, listen, it's all about the little guys, all right? The big esports, well, hopefully ShoWTimE's team is, but the big esports, they might not turn a profit, but us little guys, we just need just a little bit just to get us going.
Oh yeah.
Just to keep the lights on.
It's all about those angel investors. Please, if you run a hedge fund and want to throw your money away, I will take it.
True.
I will run a tournament.
Keep the StarCraft games going. Let's put on some tournaments. Hit us up.
I think we need a bidding war between Toby from Shopify and somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree. Who can put on the best tournament of 2024? That's what we need to figure out.
Yeah, I'm down to judge, especially if I get to participate in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it should be in like I don't know, some really. I think it should be. I was gonna say out of the country in some really cool place, but who knows whether we'll be able to travel.
It can be in Hawaii. Listen,
Okay.
I'll hook it up out here.
Okay, sounds great.
It'll be good.
Is there any venue that would work?
Absolutely, for sure. I'm sure we could find something. I know all the theater people in Honolulu. We can put something together.
Put it in the football stadium for University of Hawaii.
There isn't a football stadium for University of Hawaii, but
Did they not have a football stadium? I figured they did because they do have a team. In fact, their head coach just got.
There is a big stadium in Hawaii, but it's not exclusively UH's. Because it's used for like the Pro Bowl and stuff like that too.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, shame.
Yeah. There are stadiums though. It's outdoor. I don't think an outdoor stadium is the way to go. PC equipment outside. I don't know. Oracle's outside though, doing pretty well here. They're raining down pulsar beam from up above.
There are actually not enough Marines for this to happen because it's a double drop into the main base of ShoWTimE here. The question is, does ShoWTimE do game-ending damage before HeroMarine kills them with this drop? And the answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think so. Shield battery's pretty good. Overcharge. Is it enough though? Nope. That shield battery goes down immediately, and Both players losing so many workers, but I think the Marines just have more staying power here. GG. Was that a 2-1-1?
Let
I
me
think
look.
it must have been. Because
Let's see, barracks.
that looks like 16 Marines on one side
Command
of the
center,
map and
yeah.
about 3 on the other. Yeah,
Yep,
that
was a 2-1-1.
You don't see it very often, but I love it. HeroMarine busting that out and kind of, I don't know, catching ShoWTimE off guard there. Certainly catching us off guard. I'm a proud gamer nerd. Thank you.
Exactly.
You know who else is a proud gamer nerd? Big
tell.
Gabe. They call him Big Gaber Nerd because he's such a gamer nerd. But he's proud of it because he is also a cool kid. And he spawned in the lower left-hand corner of Hardwire. There you go. My best introduction yet.
There we go. And also in the upper right, the man who runs more miles per day than I win games of StarCraft. He is ShoWTimE. But like, you know, that's not all that hard because I generally win about 0 games of StarCraft.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So he runs like 1 mile a day, or?
Yeah, well, I don't know how much he runs now, but if you remember the signature series, he was like, yeah, I run like a 10K every day or whatever it is.
Jesus.
Which, you know, I was doing like 5K on my running days in the fall, but when it's -10, it's really hard to go run.
Yeah, that does make it tough. There is like a cold temperature where you can still go run, but it stops at around 10 degrees, I would say. It starts to be like really untenable to actually go for runs outside. -10, I don't know, man.
Yeah, when the weather warning with the wind chill says that, yeah, if your wind chill's going to go down to like -30, any exposed extremities exposed for more than 10 minutes or, you know, in danger of frostbite, that's a little bit hard to go running in. Just throwing that out there, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe consider investing in a treadmill.
Yeah, with what space in my three room apartment?
I got
There's no
nothing for
space.
you.
Yeah.
Put it behind you.
It's fine.
Oh, you can put your desk over it. It's like a standing desk, but it's a running desk. And while you
but
cast
I have a
StarCraft, you're just running. Dude, imagine how good you would get at running.
Oh wow, I'd be running for. Oh gee, you're just on the treadmill the entire time for NA and EU.
Yeah.
It's a 12-hour run. You're like, oh god.
12-hour run. Oh man.
I cannot imagine anything worse.
As somebody who hates running and doesn't do it ever, I think I could maybe run about 12 minutes. And honestly, I don't think I could do that. I think if I tried to run 12 minutes right now, I'd pass out. That's a genuine truth.
Chickenman, come on, dude. Get better. We all know, you know, more you can run, healthier lungs, the better you can cast.
It's true.
It's
true.
all for the
I gotta
StarCraft.
run more. You're right.
Now, what ShoWTimE has to do is make sure that HeroMarine does not run to the left side of the map because we've got a proxy oracle coming on out here. And ShoWTimE's oracles have been really good this series.
They've done so much damage. It's actually
even the
insane.
Even in the games that he's lost, it's like, well, they got 10 workers. Unfortunately, I lost 20, so it's whatever. But, I mean, we're going to have to see whether he's going to be able to get more here because HeroMarine's running across the map with the same pressure that he killed Skillous with. And I want to say game number 1 of that series, but already here, the Adepts are in position. Hellions taking too much damage. Not going to be all that much now. There we go. The Oracle does arrive. 1, 2, 3. Oh, man. You got to keep the Oracle moving to make sure you have that acceleration. But 4 workers. 4 workers will be the cost. 5 workers will be the cost. 6? Nope, not 6.
Oracle does sneak out of there. Of course, we have the second Oracle on the way as well. But with the Viking popping out, I'm actually surprised it's not a Cyclone. It's going for a tank instead. But
Yeah, I mean,
the Viking will be pretty good at pushing this away.
I don't blame HeroMarine for getting a Viking here. I mean, he has taken so much damage from these Oracles in this game, in this series. So it's like, okay, look, I'm going to have that guaranteed push away, but look at where the Oracles are. They're not there. They're not where the proxy was, in fact.
I will say Widowmine's pretty easy to spot on the ground, so I wouldn't be surprised if ShoWTimE knew exactly where that Widowmine was.
And what top tier casting, by the way? we're just gonna make random sounds, and people are gonna interpret it as whatever they want it actually to be.
No, they knew what it was. They knew. There's a Widowmine on the ground. Oracle almost died.
All right, so interesting here. ShoWTimE's committing to Phoenix, but yeah, HeroMarine's gonna shut that one down. It's gonna be 2 Phoenix, 1 heavily injured. It's, you know, two Phoenix are better than 1, but it takes what, like 6 shots to kill a worker, so not great. However, they will lift tanks, and that is something.
That's true. I mean, we saw ShoWTimE really utilize 1 Phoenix in one of the earlier games, so, you know, imagine what he can do with 2. Probably double the things. Yeah,
they lift 2 tanks instead of 1. The question though is whether wait, am I? You knew about
ShoWTimE.
it.
Oh, okay, he tags it now.
Like, oh well, there was a Widowmine there. That is unfortunate because this is just so much less energy now available to, say, you know, drop stasis traps.
Yeah.
Which is how ShoWTimE won game number 2. I mean, more than just, was it game 2? Yeah. Because he did not win. No, it was a game he lost it though.
Yeah, I think it was a game he lost, but it was a good fight. At the very least. And ShoWTimE, I mean, this army composition isn't all that great. There's a couple of slow zealots, there's a couple of blinkless stalkers, there's a couple of glaiveless adepts, and a single sentry. The tanks are gonna siege up. Where are those phoenixes? Not really that close. Super shield battery turns on. There is an immortal popping out. It's not quite ready. The oracle gonna turn on. The phoenixes go for the lifts, but those tanks are gonna drop back down. It looks like this will be a cleanup though for ShoWTimE. Was a little dicey there for a second, but the overcharged shield battery helping out.
Yeah, a little bit dicey, but he managed to roll high on it anyways. As now, I mean, that push is not working. HeroMarine, he is on 2 bases. Stim is, you know, that's a 730 stim. This is delayed because he went for the pressure. Also, I'm sorry, he did get a quick third. But, you know, that does kind of show the downside of going for these Stargate openers. If you're not able to maintain map control, and really it is good for ShoWTimE that he was able to get those workers early, if you're not able to establish map control, you do not have anything that really fights Terran Bio. I mean, yes, ShoWTimE was able to hold through some really nice shield battery usage and things like that, but I mean, we saw how close that was to HeroMarine just rolling him over without the, you know, it's just a bunch of slow zealots and slow stalkers eating multiple tank shots. That gets very complicated very, very quickly.
Yeah, it absolutely does. But HeroMarine sent pack, and he's going to take his 3rd base. We don't have a 4th yet for ShoWTimE, but he is teching up. Catches this drop, which is really, really nice. Forces HeroMarine to unload, and 8 Marines, not the scariest thing in the world, but it's nice to stop that drop before it even really gets started.
So we got single robo, double forge here, extend thermal lance, 1-1 on the way. So actually, HeroMarine's going to hit with this +1 timing before ShoWTimE is going to have any upgrades to speak of. That being said, pretty quickly after that, ShoWTimE is going to have an upgrade lead for a significant portion of this game. It's really not going to go away once it gets started. And that will give ShoWTimE some, at the very least, really strong defensive utility, right? 1-1, 2-2, Blink Stalker, Colossus into Disruptor, whatever you want to go for. It's going to make it a little bit harder for HeroMarine to kind of, really tear him apart because, you know, what's your response to drops? It's going to be gateway units, and having those upgrade leads are really useful. But for now, it's a +1 stim combat shield timing versus, you know, a lot of units, but not a lot of tech, or not a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, a lot of investment here for ShoWTimE in things that aren't really going to help him in this fight or defending the tiny little drop up to the upper left here, which is going to go try to hit some probes. It should be able to do a good job. ShoWTimE doesn't have anything to deal with that, and as he pulls out of position, HeroMarine pulls back with his whole army, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Man, you're doing such a great job of building it, like, yeah, he's in the left. And as he goes out of, well, it's actually not there anymore.
Yeah, HeroMarine decides to pull back, and that timing you were talking about, it's starting to go away. We've got Thermal Lance finishing up. We've got Blink almost done. 1-1 is about 3/4 of the way there. But HeroMarine's going for, this is the big commit. He's got the drop hitting the main. 3 medevacs full of bio units. The Stalker's going to hurt the medevacs a little bit, but most of these units get out of there. And at the same time, HeroMarine is pressuring on the left with a siege tank. But you know what? I feel like feel like ShoWTimE actually might just be able to clean this up. The drop is trading with some units. ShoWTimE is getting some economic damage done here, but the Colossi, which now have 9 range, are going to be able to help take this out pretty quickly. The lack of Stalkers here is a little painful, though, as the 3 Vikings are chipping away at the Colossi.
Hey, you know, the tickle beams, the sentries are going to keep him alive here. Anyway, the tank is dead. This is all going down. Nice flank there from ShoWTimE. And they don't call him the wall for no reason.
Yeah.
He is really impenetrable. I mean, losing a probe here or there, that's fine. ShoWTimE's now up in army supply. He's up in, you know, workers just a little bit, but the big deal, he has a more expensive army that has more supply, that has more upgrades. And he is rapidly he's about to go to attack here. We got a Warp Prism on the way. He is rapidly putting himself in a position where he will be able to at least put tremendous pressure on the third base of HeroMarine, if not just outright break it.
Yeah, this attack going to be a little scary for HeroMarine. He will have +1 armor that just finished up, so the upgrades will be even for a while. That 2-2 investment for ShoWTimE not going to come into play just yet. ShoWTimE decides to back up for now. He's got a lot of Zealots, though, and I feel like those don't scale super well as the game gets larger. The game gets longer and the armies get larger. Those Zealots kind of walk into a meat grinder of a huge amount of bio. But he's getting his own disruptors, he's getting DTs, and he should be able to take a 5th base pretty quickly here.
Yeah, and you know, that 4th base, that's a little bit maybe difficult to take because you got the high ground, low ground setup. The 5th base, that's pretty safe back there in the upper left corner. So the Zealots are going to move on in. Actually, I was about to say this even before he dropped, but I feel like ShoWTimE, he maybe has maxed out in a little bit too big of a way. And that, you know, ideally you're keeping like what, you know, 10 supply free so you can warp things in. Maxing out to 200 supply meant that he could not add in additional Zealot warpins. And, you know, imagine that that's a 12 Zealot run by instead of a 4. I feel like that gets a lot more damage, but even still, you know, 12 SCVs do go down here, and he still has really good map control, even if he is somewhat lacking in vision on the right side, as the Warp Prism actually won't get chased down. Good luck there for ShoWTimE.
And that Viking just taking the day off. Apparently it was lunch break. Took his foot off the accelerator and just stopped chasing that Prism.
All right, so where are we now? 2-2 just about done. Actually, this is such an anti-time hit for HeroMarine. He's trying to push in right as 2-2 completes. That being said, this is always going to be a complicated position for ShoWTimE to break out of, right? When you got the one little bit on the high ground, the army just defending on the low ground, especially with these Vikings just sitting in the dead airspace, it makes it so difficult. So Disruptor Shot is going to knock down that. And now ShoWTimE, yeah, he's just going to take this fight anyway. Stalkers blinking on top of the army, looking for what they can. EMPs blanket everything, but not before Medevac does go down with some units inside. Vikings are trying to do what they can. They're unsuccessful. Meanwhile, the drop in the main base as well. The wall is sturdy here in this game number 5. The walls hold. And again, HeroMarine is looking for damage that does not exist.
Yeah, he's really trying to find something with these Vikings. His positioning has been so good, but ShoWTimE just hasn't let it happen. He's been paying attention. He hasn't put his Colossi in too much danger, and the Stalkers keep protecting them. The Viking count dwindling down. I mean, 5 Vikings against 3 Colossi. That's not too great. Those Colossi are going to stay alive for quite a while, and they're going to be able to do a lot of damage to this bio. And the Colossi aren't even the really scary thing here. Those Disruptors are a lot scarier. Again, the drops come in this time. Not only do they not really get anything done, but they die. Little counterattack isn't going to get too much done either, but we have DTs that can come out now. We've got a whole bunch of DTs that do have blink in the lower right-hand corner. They're getting ready to blink in, and turrets, planetaries, well, we've seen what happens to those when blink DTs decide they want to kill it.
Yeah, we can say, you say that run by on the third doesn't get too much done, and that is true, but I feel like that's ShoWTimE just giving away supply at this point so he can have more DTs to 1, 2, 3, 4 shots. So maybe not as many DTs as we're expecting. Generally, it's 3 shots. But anyway, the base goes down. 11 workers go down. Most importantly, Liberator range will go down here.
Oh,
so even as ShoWTimE does lose that base. Sorry?
It's so painful to lose Liberator range. And yeah, like you said, ShoWTimE loses a base, but that is a 6th base for a 4th. And that is a massive difference in terms of the economy.
Yeah, 25 workers going down. Those DTs, by the way, they do escape. They get EMP'd, but their blink came back up in time, so no big deal there. I guess another DT found its way to the natural. That one will go down. But even still, now we got that pressure that we were talking about on this third base. Again, you know, there is enough stuff here that makes it difficult. I mean, this is, as wide as it looks, is a rather narrow choke, because those EMPs are going to be massive. And we are going to see Colossus start to go down here, but the disruptor shots are all that matters. Look at this, though. We got HeroMarine coming in with a flank here. ShoWTimE's aware of it, so he knows where he can run and where he cannot. He's lost all of his velocity. Disruptor shots, they're going to go down here as well, but you know what? Here come the invisible men. Preemptive scans are going to do what they can, but the army of HeroMarine is melting, and you've got to remember, ShoWTimE's got a bank behind this. He can warp stuff in. He can build more units, and yes, scans are good, but you got to have an army to defend it. 15 more workers go down as well, as looks like there's a run by the natural. Disruptor shots are going to knock down the last of HeroMarine's army here, and now it's all down to just the reinforcements. ShoWTimE winning with all the GTs, although Snipe CMPs are going to have a little bit more to say about that.
Yeah, but that was the big moment for HeroMarine. The army supply was way in his favor because he lost all those workers, but he was still maxed on a huge army. But he wasn't able to get it done with that, and now resupplying is such a big issue. ShoWTimE had that huge bank. He just warps in a couple rounds of Stalkers. He gets a few more Disruptors out, and Stalkers are actually pretty good against Ghosts. They take them down, and with that, ShoWTimE gets the victory in Game 5. It looked like it was going to be a comeback for HeroMarine, but not quite. Couldn't get the full reverse sweep. It is our big esports, big wall, taking the 3-2 victory.
Yep, they call it the Big Gabe Weekly, and they were half right. It was the Big Weekly. It's not the Big Gabe Weekly, as that was a masterful game there from ShoWTimE in game number 5. Well done throughout that series. Now, hopefully, ShoWTimE and HeroMarine play in NA as well, so we get to see it again.